What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, OTB Nation? Welcome into episode number 370 of the award-nominated, honorably mentioned, number 9 NCAA, number 11 Philadelphia ranked Outside the Box podcast, the official lacrosse podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia podcast network. Almost lost my breath there. Excuse me. It's KB and Deej coming at you with another episode this week, diving into all the NLL action as we are ever so close to the NLL playoffs. We're going to break down the week that was, get into this week's action as we are at week 20, the penultimate week of the regular season already. It's crazy how time flies. We will dive into that. We'll give our picks of the week, obviously, and then we'll get into a little PLL discussion as some coaches have been announced. A coach is staying with the Woods, which we'll get into as well. And Deej will take us through the college slate, and we'll give you the TLN games of the week as well. But before we get into everything, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at OTB Lax Pod across the board. Follow Deej at SCS_next great. Follow Hoots at Hoot Sports Media. And of course, follow Chase at the PLL Pipeline. And you can follow me if you feel like it at KBIZTL311. We will also have Hoots on the Ground this Sunday at 4 Eastern time for Rush and Mammoth out there at the Loud House. So definitely tune in for Hoots' photos. And make sure you guys are subscribed to the pod. Subscribe. Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave us a 5-star review. It goes a long way for helping this show continue to grow, helps more people find Outside the Box and Underground Sports Philadelphia on your podcast app of choice. So keep subscribing and leave those 5-star reviews. And subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. That is where you get full video episodes of this show every week, full video episodes of every show on our network, clips, shorts, live streams, original video content, all on our YouTube channel. We're at 1,052 subscribers, which means we're 48 away from our next 100 milestone. So keep subscribing, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. And if bracket season's right around the corner, if you want the OTB college show, subscribe to the Outside the Box podcast YouTube channel. Deej and Hoots will be holding that down on that channel. Same podcast feed, just video form on the OTB channel. We're 49 subscribers away from the goal for that show coming to life. So be sure to subscribe to the OTB YouTube as well, youtube.com/@OTB LaxPod. And this show is proudly presented by Shootout For Soldiers. Guys, we've been talking about Shootout For Soldiers for quite some time now, and their full schedule is ready to rock and roll for the season. It is truly one of the coolest ways to get involved with the lacrosse community. It's bringing community and lacrosse together to help support our nation's veterans. Their entire 2025 schedule that starts in Atlanta, ends in Kansas City, is available now to register for. Find out how to donate, volunteer, get involved, register for any upcoming event by going to shootoutforsoldiers.com/events and learning how to get involved, become a sponsor, get involved, request more info, how to register, or find an event that is close to you, whether it be Atlanta, Kansas City, Baltimore, Colorado, Annapolis, Maryland, and a whole lot more. Go to shootoutforsoldiers.com/events and learn how to get involved. Plus, I do want to give a shout out to our guy, Eric Minio. He has been nominated for an award. I want to see if he actually posted about it or if it was just his story. No, it's right here. Eric is being honored as the Ed McGuinn Humanitarian Award winner for City Lax NYC. So shout out to Eric. Big time stuff.
Oh, yeah, Eric.
Doing the damn thing. So shout out to Eric Minio. Absolutely deserved. He has been a big, long-time supporter of not only the show, but Deej and I on a personal level. So big ups to Eric for that honor. Absolutely deserved. And check out Shootout For Soldiers, linked in the description. We thank them for being a proud presenting partner of the podcast. Guys, Deej is going through his flu game.
Gang. Hey, but y'all show up for us, so I got to show up for y'all. So no excuses.
He's popping out. We had ourselves quite the week, not only in the NLL, but just in general. We had a very fun live stream for March Madness. Shout out to everybody who tuned into that. It was a big time stream. Deej, you had yourself a time on social media.
All right. I sincerely apologize to everybody out there who had to experience that. I'm not really like that. But when you push me there, it gets there. And this is not the first time that y'all have heard of some rumblings back and forth between this podcast and said person. But it was never really directed at me. So I let KB be a man and not come save him because he can handle that all on his own. But he has thrown shots at KB and OTB in the past. I just thought I made a pretty simple remark that had nothing to do with any kind of attack and just was hey, what you think it is not really what it is. And it turned into personal attacks. So I had to pick apart every part of his
argument.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. And just show why there's a difference between me and him, and why not too many people have necessarily told me I was wrong. But I do apologize that y'all had to see that. I'm not like that for real. I promise you. I'm such a nice person. Like I swear. Like I'm not going to do the whole good guy thing because normally people that try and convince you they're a good person are a terrible person. I'm not going to do all of that. But I am not what you saw on Saturday. But everybody knows when you poke a bear enough, it's going to get at you. So that's all it was. It was just a little reminder that
can I quote Shannon Sharp here?
Just because I'm quiet, don't mean it ain't there.
Can I quote Shannon Sharp here?
Please.
Since you brought up poking a bear. I was pouring honey on you, goat.
I mean, that's kind of what it felt like, dog.
For real. Let you be you.
Because, like, let's be honest here. I thought the initial reaction, I did a very great job.
Yeah.
You know, I said the piece about, like, hey, you know, the PLL does acknowledge the NLL. It's maybe not as often as you would like, but they do it. It's there. And it is not this thing. Like, there's no thing for the PLL to just disregard the NLL. That's not there. Then he snapped back with some personal things, and I was like, all right, buddy. You got two options here. We could just let this go, and that's it. We'll act like it never happened. Or we can keep going, and you won't like it, and I'm not going to wait. He chose the latter, and as you all saw, it got out of hand. So
sometimes it happens.
You know what? And I'm sorry, y'all. I really am. I think I got my karma from that. I think I reaped what I sowed there. Not only did
DJ forgot to carry Madame Zeroni up the mountain.
Facts. Because not only did Michigan lose, but I've been feeling like absolute dog water all week. So yeah.
What a time.
I don't think I'll be doing that again anytime soon.
What a hilarious life we live.
Literally.
Yeah, we had a wild week in the NLL. We're going to recap it all. And as you guys know, our NLL wrap-ups are brought to you by our friends over at Buff. We love Buff. And guess what? You know, it's Survivor season, and the merge just happened. This is a spoiler, no context for us since we're not caught up yet on this season in particular. But the new Survivor Season 48 merge buff is available on Buff's website. Check it out. It's a clean blue color with like a nice like lilac purple design in it as well. Definitely check that out. Go get your Buff Gators, your Shiesties. They've got the CoolNet UV material as well. Guys, Buff is 90% of all their manufacturing happens in-house in Barcelona. In 2023, they became a B Corp certified company with a score of 105.7. Their facilities are powered by 100% renewable energy, and they achieved carbon neutrality in 2023 in all of their direct operations. We love Buff here. We love Survivor. And, the Survivor season 50 is right around the corner, and we're getting a lot of the legends coming out and saying that they're going to be participating in season 50. And that means they're going to be wearing their buffs again, which is very exciting. So use our link in the description. Shop everything with Buff, including the new merge buff for season 48. And we thank Buff for being a proud partner of the podcast. Boston Rob literally tweeted the other day, Deej, like the Vince Carter meme. He said, "I think I got one more in me." I said,
That's
let's
crazy.
go.
That's crazy.
Tyson tweeted, he was like, after 5 years no contact, I can confirm that I will be appearing on season 50.
I mean, maybe I will.
I was like, let's go.
Should I? No.
I will be on Survivor one day.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I love Survivor, bro, but there's no way I'm going out there.
That is number 2 on my bucket list.
I
promise Joe Keegan that when I get the casting call, I have to wear the yellow PLL hat.
I think I am
fair.
I think I'm too. I can't. I can't.
My goal would literally be to just get to the merge.
I wouldn't last that long. People would not like me. I don't know what it would be about me, but people would not like me. And
either that or like it would be funny to join the crew of like first voted out.
Oh yes, please. like I either need to make it to like the end and like I need to like be sweating my balls off.
If you make it to the merge, you're not only getting paid more because you're making weekly TV appearance because you're in the jury, but then you also get to live at Ponderosa. Like, sign me up for that.
No, my thing is I'm trying to one of two things: either get me out of there right away, or I need to be at the end sweating out the jury. Like, okay, did I actually like ruin these people's lives for the last month, or do they like me? I need to know what's happening right now. And that would be perfect. Like, that would be the perfect scenario. But knowing me, I would be like the person that's like voted off for the merge. Like, I'm the one that gets voted off, and then it's like, oh, okay, so now we're gonna merge. And it's like, oh, awesome. I just missed it.
But yeah, I got to catch up on Survivor very soon. There's just so much on television right now that I'm just like, dude, we have 3 shows that we're gonna be breaking down for streamer season in like the next week.
Y'all busy.
But the NLL week 19 wrap up here, the recap. This is how the week went in week 19. Calgary pulls the big time win over Saskatchewan 10-6 on the road. Vancouver shuts down Albany 10-4. 10-4 over. Halifax pulls the home win over San Diego 13-10. Rochester wins 12-6 over Ottawa. The Philadelphia Wings find their offense and get a win on the road against Georgia 15-13 in a game where Mitch Jones got into a fight, accumulated 17 minutes of penalty time, and I believe was ejected from the game. Crazy game. We'll get into it. The Bandits win 15-10 at the Loud House over the Mammoth. And then the stunner, one of the stunners of the weekend, overtime win for the Las Vegas Desert Dogs at home. They take down the Toronto Rock 14-13. The boy Jack Hanna was on a heater, and Vegas gets a W to round out the weekend. Deej, I'll start with your Roughnecks getting a big-time road victory in the Battle of the Prairies. How'd you feel about it? Holding them to 6 goals is pretty impressive. Great goalie matchup. I mean, 16 combined goals is a big-time, defensive type game, but big-time win here late in the season for the Roughnecks to keep their playoff hopes, very much in their destiny.
Yeah, watching this one was exciting. Mostly because seeing that we can win some of those dirty games that don't necessarily have an offensive explosion. looking at this year, the close games we have won have been games that are 15-17, 17-19, 16-14, 13-11. Like, to see a game that was 10-6 and we were basically in control of it the entire time was an exciting thing to see as a fan. And holding that team to 6 says that this defense is ready for a playoff like Lacrosse. You're going to have to hold teams like Saskatchewan to 6 if you want to make it far. And it's just overall a great win at this time of the year. We're going into a situation where the next 2 weeks matter more than they've ever mattered to any team ever. Like, every team is trying to win every game they have now because all of the seeding is going to come down to these last 2 weeks. So picking up a win like that only gives you good momentum heading into your next few games, or I think we only have one more because I think we have this weekend off. Let me double check that.
We have next week.
Yeah, we have this weekend off, then we have 2 more next weekend. So yeah,
which is so weird that they would schedule it that way.
Whatever. But to get, a win before your bye week heading in to that rest, you're in a good mindset now to really focus to win 2 more games. So I was very happy with the effort and the output.
Yeah, big time win. And we are recording this on Friday. Like I said, Deej is battling his flu game, aka his allergy game. So we pushed the recording a little bit. I also had an event that I was invited to kind of like last minute that pushed our recording there, which I was going to go to that event no matter what. Congratulations to a bunch of VHS alumni that we consider friends. Jamil Demby, Isaiah Pacheco, and Tess Fisher inducted into our VHS Athletic Hall of Fame. Very cool. I showed up, I got invited yesterday, Deej, and I got shouted out during the ceremony, and I was like, what is going on? So yeah, we're recording this right now, and just for a little update, Vancouver is tied up 2-2 as we record this with Toronto late in the first quarter. So we'll give you guys updates on that game as it rolls around. Deej, should we just give our picks now? Are we both on the Vancouver train?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That way people don't think we're retroactively making picks here when they listen to this episode bright and early tomorrow.
Facts.
Speaking of Vancouver, they go belt to ass 10-4 over Roger. Christian Del Bianco has been a revelation for them. I know a lot of people are like, can a goalie win goalie of the year in 6 games? No, but the what if scenario of Christian Del Bianco's with the Warriors to start the year, like he should have been with all of this nonsense, would have been crazy to see where Vancouver would be. Not that they're having a bad season. They are on the precipice of making the playoffs for the first time in us doing this podcast. But it would be crazy to kind of see where they stack up, and if they were closer to, Saskatchewan and being like 11-5 rather than 9-7, like seeing what Del Bianco would have done throughout a whole season would have been cool. But a great win for them. They're on the brink of clinching a playoff spot, and we'll see how it all shakes out for them against Toronto and Philadelphia with their final 2 games. Halifax gets a big-time win, a big-time tiebreaker, pushes San Diego into the mud of these final playoff spots as well, while clinching a playoff spot of their own. They are 10-6. They're going to the playoffs. A good win. That's what Halifax had to do if they wanted to be, towards the top, host a opening round playoff game. They had to win. They got the job done. Kudos to them. Rochester doubles up Ottawa. They clinch a playoff spot. The hottest team in the league. Like we said last week, they are the hottest team in the league. They have the MVP on their team. And I'm telling you right now, whoever let Rochester get hot, good on them. Oh, wait, it might have been the Philadelphia Wings because that's when their run started. I mean, what more can we say, Deej, about how, number one, how fun this Rochester team has been. 2, how definitive it is that Connor Fields is the MVP. 3, this team is not going away quietly in the playoffs either. They are going to make noise. And quite frankly, if I'm a team in the 5-8 spot in the playoffs, I'm hoping and praying that my first round matchup is not the Rochester Nighthawks.
It's a scary team to play right now.
Scary.
They're very focused. I mean, literally laser focused. They have all the right pieces to, I think, sneakily beat you. I think that's the thing. Like, I think a lot of teams look at them and they're like, okay, they have a couple bright stars, but everybody else is kind of just NLL players. Like, there's not like a bunch of household names there. They don't have this super great goaltender that everybody's like salivating over. Like, they just have guys. And I think the I don't want to say lack of respect, but the under hype, the lack of hype that they get, I think is kind of what is pushing them to prove that they're just as good as their brothers. I think that's really where their drive comes from, is being seen as little brother by their ownership and everybody around. You know, a lot of people in the league look at them as Buffalo's little brother because of the ownership and all of that. So I think that's fueling them a little bit, and they're really starting to put it together, and they're going to make a run. And if you have to play them at any point, be strapped and ready, because it's going to be a battle.
Yeah, they're going to be dangerous. And right now, it could be playoff game of the year if it shakes out this way. It would be Rochester versus Vancouver in Rochester for the first round of the playoffs. That's fun.
So fun.
And that's a 4-5 matchup. So, like, right now, if the playoffs started, it would be Buffalo hosting Colorado, Saskatchewan hosting San Diego, Halifax hosting Georgia, and Rochester hosting Vancouver. That's insane. That's a wild hypothetical playoff picture right now. Ladies and gentlemen, our long national nightmare is over. The Philadelphia Wings have won a lacrosse game. Clap it up for the boys. Way to be. Way to lock in. Better late than never. And whoever pissed Mitch Jones off to the point where he fought that much and got a 10-minute game misconduct, of 5 minutes for fighting and 2 minutes for instigating, shame on you. But good grief, what a game from the boys. Joe Resitarit's 11 points in this game. Brennan O'Neill was alive. It was good to see him cooking again. Brennan ended up with, where's he at? He ended up with 6 points in this game. Phil Caputo had a hat trick. Dalton Young had 4 assists in this game. Blaze Reardon had his best game of the year, a hat trick and 4 assists. Tony Malcolm with 2 assists. Evan Messenger had a goal and 2 assists. Mitch DeSnew had a goal and 2 assists. Sam Leclerc had a goal and 2 assists. Ryan Wagner had an assist. And the boy Deacon Knott gets his first win of his NLL career. Let's go. Let's go, Deeks. Comes in relief, plays 41, almost 42 minutes in this one, in relief of Nick Damude, who played a little over 18 minutes, gave up 6 goals, had 13 saves. They make a goalie change. Deacon Knott only gives up 7 goals, has 27 saves the rest of the way. Nick Rowlett, 25 face-off wins. Mitch DeSnew had 19 loose balls. And the Philadelphia Wings keep their season alive, and they doubled their chances at the playoffs, Steve. They went from 0.3% to 0.6% with this win. My biggest question mark is, where was this offense the last 2 months? This is the offense that we saw for the first 7 weeks of the season when the Wings started 5-2. Where did it go? How did you find it? And I just got to say, it shouldn't take Mitch Jones fighting 50 some odd seconds into the game and getting ejected for you to have some sort of motivation to go and win a game. It's crazy. Crazy win. The Wings scored 1 goal in the first quarter, and I saw the first quarter, like, end of quarter graphic, and I was like, oh, here we go again. And then they put up a 6-piece, like they're like McDonald's chicken nuggets out here in the second quarter. They put up another 6-piece in the fourth quarter, and the most goals the Swarm scored in a given quarter was 5. And that was the first quarter. The Wings, oh, look at this, Deej. Who would have thought? During this losing streak, I kid you not, the Wings had not outshot their opponents. They were getting outshot by at least 10 shots per game. The Wings outshot the Swarm, 55-53. They won 25 of 32 faceoffs. And they did all of this while allowing Georgia's power play to go 80%, and they went 25% on the power play. I just, where was this? This was a fun team to watch. This was a fun game to watch.
Yes.
Where was
extremely
this
fun.
the last 2 months that you could have carried this momentum? And I'm not saying you're going to win every game, but you could have won 4 more games here and had a prime playoff position if you played like this every week the last 2 months. It's crazy that out of the blue, backs against the wall, full blown. I just don't get that aspect of it. And now you have to win out. You need help from the Vegas Desert Dogs to get into the playoffs. I don't think it's happening. It would be a wild thing to watch unfold if it does, but I'm just disappointed that we couldn't see this offense like we saw the first 7 weeks of the year, where this team battled for an overtime win against Saskatchewan early in the year, where this team was beating up on the bad teams all year, and then they fell apart for 2 months. This is the crazy part, and I tweeted this. The last time the Wings won a game before last weekend, the Philadelphia Eagles were not Super Bowl champions yet. That's how long it had been since the Wings had won a game. The Eagles had not won the Super Bowl yet. Great win. I'm bummed as a fan of the team, as a guy who covers this team, and as somebody who wants the success of every human in that building because of the relationships we have, curated with them over the years, that this couldn't have been a consistent thing over the last 2 months, because they'd be a playoff team if they were playing like this on a consistent basis.
Yeah, it's frustrating to go through. I think, I can resonate with that feeling. Watching the Red Wings at the end of last season, where they're making that playoff push. They played like that the whole season, there would have been no push to make at the end of the year. It was stuff like that was really frustrating. And I can even go back to say they lost Dylan Larkin.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever he didn't play, they didn't win. And it's like, dude, one player can make a difference, but shouldn't make that much of a difference to where you literally can't win a game without them. We saw that happen with Scott Dominy. He got hurt, and then the Wings just couldn't win. And it's like, dude, why did one person ruin your entire philosophy as a team? So I think there's some questions that they have as a team that they seem to be answering. Because even as they were losing, it wasn't getting worse. Because I think that's something you have to pay attention to when teams are on losing streaks, is how are they losing games? Are they losing games? It stayed exactly the same, which isn't bad.
It was bad. It was bad losses, but they were all bad losses.
Right. It's one thing when you're going up and down. That means that you actually just don't know what's going on.
The offense crashed harder than the stock market has.
When it's consistent, though, it means that you're trying to fix the issue. You just haven't found the solution yet. So possibly they got to the solution, and we'll find out over the next couple of weeks as they continue to play. But this weekend looked really good for them, and it's something that you kind of just, like you said, you wish for, but it's something that you got to fix as a team through, over the next couple of weeks into the offseason, most likely, as you probably won't make the playoffs at this point. But it's just something to keep in the back of your head, is looking at the highlights of the year, the lowlights, and how to make them come together to create a stable team that is consistent.
And I'll say this too, last bit here, I'm not putting any of the early game woes on Nick Demude, really. He's still one of the best young goalies in this league, and can be, argued as one of the best just overall goalies. I think he has so much promise in future. I think it was just an off night, and the Wings needed a spark to save their season, quite literally. So I think that's why they went to Deacon, and kudos to Deacon for answering the bell and, stepping up big time there. But I am not losing faith on Nick Demude whatsoever. I think he is still wildly talented. He's only 25 years old. He has such a bright future in this league. And I think it was just like an off start to the game. So it's like, let's put a spark in, see what Deacon can do for us in a spot where, the season's on the line quite literally, but let's just see what happens with a guy who hasn't really gotten that much playing time. And he answered the call big time and got his first career win in the NLL. So kudos to Deacon, and I'm sure Nick will bounce back really well this week as the Wings have a rematch with the Georgia Swarm in the home finale at the Wells Fargo Center, and I'll be there this week, so should be a doozy of a time. Buffalo wins 15-10 over Colorado. We were talking to Hoots about it during our live stream for the national championship. Like, Colorado, it just sucks that their offense is so injured. Like, if they had one of those guys that wasn't out, I think they'd be in a much better situation right now. It sucks that, like, Zed goes down. Eli McLaughlin has, off the field obligations that he has to attend to with being a firefighter, and he's done for the year. Connor Kelly has missed time, and it all kind of like happened all at once. Right now, Colorado's the 8 seed, so we'll see if they hold on to that. Obviously, week 21, there is a massive tilt between the Mammoth and the Roughnecks that will more than likely determine which one of those teams gets into the playoffs. So that's going to be fascinating to watch. But Buffalo has a chance to lock up the top seed this week with this win. So we'll see if they get that done as they host Halifax on Saturday. But a big win for Buffalo to just continue, keeping that little bit of space between them and Saskatchewan there. And then the Vegas Desert Dogs. Do you believe in miracles? They pull off the overtime win over the Toronto Rock. And Deej, we promised everyone on the show last week that if Vegas did win, I would laugh hysterically. Toronto lost in overtime to the worst team in the league. What karma? What karma? And guess what, guys? This is not directed at any of the players at all, because we are so tight with like more than 50% of that roster. This is all karma to their dumbass owner and their dumbass GM. And now I love how out of all of this is all of a sudden their head coach's fault. Have you seen this discourse online? Like,
No.
They are blaming the season on their coach.
No way.
For all of the losing and everything, and like fans and everything are saying like, oh, he should have been fired a couple years ago. Like, he's lost the locker room, this, that, and the third. I'm like, do y'all not see what your owner / GM did preseason, in season, all of that? Like, your coach is trying to maneuver around all these injuries that you've sustained throughout the year, sustained through all these trades that have gone down. What are we talking about that Matt Sawyer is the problem?
So far from the problem.
Like,
so far from the problem. Y'all are ridiculous. And the bigger thing about that is Toronto was just almost in the cup, 2 years ago? 3 years ago?
Past couple years. Like, they just ran into Buffalo in the semifinal.
Hello. What are we talking about here?
Now, is that an issue? Sure.
Sure, but Buffalo's also been a wagon. So,
right.
like, we get it.
And overall, Buffalo has been your Achilles heel for as long as we've been covering the league. And I'm sure it even dates back further. But Matt Sawyer's a damn good coach. And I'll tell you that there's probably 6 teams in the league right now. If they had the opportunity, they would hire Matt Sawyer to be their head coach. Easily, at least 6. You look at, the coaches in the league, there's some very good coaches. But I think there's some that if they had the opportunity to hire Matt Sawyer, they absolutely would. And I could not believe the discourse that I have seen from NLL fans, from Toronto Rock fans, saying that Matt Sawyer is the problem for all the. It's like, I don't know. I haven't gotten to talk to you too much about it, but Hoots has been crashing out about the Nuggets. I wanted to get your perspective about that, like them firing their coach and GM. I personally think it's crazy.
I hate when they fire coaches when it's not their fault.
Yes.
It's the dumbest thing ever. Ever. Or when they don't fire everybody responsible, right? Speaking of, like the Packers, when they fired Mike McCarthy, awesome. But you should have sent Brian Gutekunst's ass right behind him. Because he ain't made no good decisions either. But instead, you allow him to stay and ruin the franchise year after year after year. Makes no sense. To me, if you're going to fire a coach, to me, okay, Denver did it right. If you're going to fire a coach, fire the GM as well. But make sure you're doing it in the correct way.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see what the Nuggets were putting out at the beginning of the year? They were never going to make the playoffs this year. And the fact that he had them even where they were says a lot.
They're a top 4 seed in the West.
Like, hello, what are you doing getting rid of a coach that just won you a championship a couple years ago?
Literally.
You're insane.
And like
that's
we know,
basically what Toronto would be doing, is getting rid of a really good coach. I mean, by all means, let him go. Let another team scoop him up, right, and then they'll probably come and laugh in your face after they beat you. I mean, it's kind of on par with all the other stupid decisions y'all have made so far.
Yep.
So, I mean, go right ahead. But it's not his fault whatsoever. The fans need to take a true look and just see that, one, been battling injuries all year.
From your biggest stars.
2, horrible comments were made by your GM
owner
and owner before the season started. So obviously that was going to put doubt all through the locker room. And then trades were made.
You had a mini fire sale.
What did you expect to get out of this? Sawyer's doing everything he can to, and he's winning games in the midst of this. Sure, he's not winning as many as you'd like, but the fact that he's winning any at all with what he's putting out there, give the man the respect and flowers he deserves.
Yeah. Crazy. So the standings right now, like I mentioned, it's Buffalo, Saskatchewan, Halifax, Rochester. They've all clinched playoff spots. Vancouver, Georgia, San Diego, Colorado are still in the playoffs as of now. Calgary's the first team out looking in, but like we said, there's still a matchup against Colorado at the end of the year next week that will determine whether or not one or both of those teams get in, depending on all the types of scenarios. Ottawa, Albany, Philly, Toronto. Vegas is eliminated, but Vegas, kudos to them getting that win. That's a huge win. The boy Jack Hanna was on a heater, highlight reel after highlight reel goal. And Vegas had a big time second quarter. They scored 5. They were able to keep things even pretty much the rest of the way. They won the face-off battle, which is huge. And they scored once on the power play. And Jonathan Donville went toe-to-toe with Josh Dahlwick, points-wise. They kind of went blow for blow. And, I mean, Jack Hanna's just a dog. He's so good. And if you allow him to get any sort of freedom of his hands, he's going to make you pay, and he's going to make you look stupid by doing it. Donnie had 7 points in this game. Adam Patra had 6 points in this game. Jack Hanna had 3 points, but the 2 goals were just absolutely magnificent. Holden Katoni had 1 goal and 2 assists in this game. Jackson Webster had a goal and 3 assists. Kyle Killen had 2 goals. Bunch of guys just distributing the ball really well. And a big-time win. Landon Kells holds it down, only allows 10. Justin Getty gets in late in the game. Lets in 3. That kind of led up into overtime a little bit, but Landon Kells did the damn thing, and the Vegas Desert Dogs get a W over the Toronto Rock. So that's your Week 19 recap. Deej, I have the Week 20 playoff clinching scenarios. We were kind of sifting through it a little bit before we started recording. But going into Week 20, the following playoff scenarios are on the table. The Buffalo Bandits have clinched a playoff berth and a first-round home playoff game. They can clinch the top overall seed throughout the playoffs with a win this weekend. The Saskatchewan Rush have clinched a playoff berth and a first-round home playoff game. They do not have any other additional scenarios right now. I think it would all be dependent on Buffalo losing if they were to be able to clinch that top seed, but I don't even think they'd be able to get it then because Buffalo has the tiebreaker because they beat them head-to-head. So I think there's some crazy stuff that would have to happen overall there, but Saskatchewan pretty much locked into that 2 seed for the most part. Halifax is clinched. They can clinch a first-round home playoff game with a win. Rochester is clinched. They don't have any additional clinching scenarios this week. The Vancouver Warriors can clinch a playoff berth with a win or any of the following combinations. Get ready for this one, everyone. Scenario 1, Ottawa loss, Colorado loss. Need both. Or an Ottawa loss and a Georgia loss. Or Colorado and San Diego loss. Or Colorado and Georgia loss, or a San Diego and a Georgia loss.
So
Multitude of scenarios.
They just need a combination of 2 teams to lose.
Basically, they need to win, and they're in. Take care of your business, and you're in.
But if they don't, 2
But
teams.
any combination of Ottawa, Colorado, Georgia, San Diego losing, you're in. Georgia can clinch a playoff berth with a win and a San Diego and Ottawa loss. San Diego can clinch a playoff berth with a win and one of the following, either a Colorado or Ottawa loss. Colorado and Calgary do not have any scenarios this week. Ottawa can be eliminated from playoff contention with a loss and a San Diego win and a Colorado win and a Toronto loss, or a Georgia win and either a San Diego or Colorado win. Albany can be eliminated from the playoffs with a loss or a Georgia win and an Ottawa win and a Colorado win and a Toronto loss. Toronto can be eliminated from playoff contention with a loss or any of the following: a Georgia win, a Colorado win, or an Ottawa win. The Wings will be eliminated from playoff contention with a loss. And Vegas has been eliminated, but they will clinch last place with a loss and a Toronto win, which right now does not look like Toronto's going to win. So Vegas can kind of hold their breath a little bit longer on giving up their first-round pick to the Toronto Rock, as Vancouver leading in the second quarter 6-2 over Vancouver. We get into Week 20 here. Penultimate week, Deej. Penultimate week for the National Lacrosse League. The matchups, the ongoing, as we're recording this on Friday night, Vancouver and Toronto game, 6-2 Vancouver leading right now. That is the lone game tonight. Then on Saturday, loaded slate. Vegas at Ottawa at 7 Eastern. San Diego at Albany at 7 Eastern. Georgia at Philadelphia at 7 Eastern. And then at 7:30 Eastern, Halifax at Buffalo. And then on Sunday, 4 Eastern, Saskatchewan, Colorado to round out the penultimate week of action. What are you looking most forward to, Deej? What's tickling your fancy here in this penultimate week as your Roughnecks are on a bye?
I would love for Colorado to lose. Sorry, Hoots, but hey, it is what it is. Georgia, Philadelphia again is always fun. Halifax, Buffalo will be fun as well. And yeah, I'm not too excited outside of those 3. Latter half of the weekend's more fun for me.
Yeah. I'm obviously going to be paying attention to Vegas and Ottawa for the Wings, just to be like Clint Barton in Avengers, don't give me hope. But I'll obviously be at Georgia and Philly. It's always a fun matchup. Those two teams hate each other, and I'll get to see Lyle Thompson play in person. which will be a lot of fun. Halifax and Buffalo is going to be a doozy on Saturday as well. And then I think Saskatchewan, Colorado has potential to be game of the week.
Yeah. Oh, easy.
It's either them or Halifax and Buffalo because those two teams hate each other too, which is going to
be you sleeping on your boys in Georgia.
Well, that's going to be 11-10, and we'll see how it all shakes out, whoever wins it. But it's always a close game. Buffalo, Halifax could be some fireworks, though.
I want to see some fights this weekend. Y'all heard it here first. I don't normally condone, but it's that kind of week.
Yeah, it's a weird week because there are so many teams that have buys here in the penultimate week of the season, and there's teams that have buys next week too, which I feel should not be the case. Like, there's teams playing double headers, but then there's also teams that are off. It's the final week of the season. Every team should be playing the final week of the season. I don't care if it's on the road or home. Every team should be in action the final week of the season. I think that's a big misstep and miscalculation there by the league. Because if I'm doing my math correct, Halifax, Toronto, Calgary, Vegas, Albany, San Diego, Rochester, Buffalo, Georgia, Philly, Vancouver, Colorado, Ottawa. All right, I might be incorrect. It's weird that teams have double headers.
Yes.
Like, I feel like down the stretch, like playoff time, I stand correct there. Every team is playing. Some teams have double headers. One, I feel like a team having a double header the final week of the season is just very odd, and kind of unfair in a sense. Not that I care because it's Toronto, but overall, and I mean Calgary has it too. That's very weird. Like, that's a playoff team that's going to have to play twice in a weekend, Friday and Saturday, on the road on Friday, and then have to go back to Canada on Saturday. That's poor scheduling in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a lot. And in these such important games at the end of the season, it should be week by week, especially with teams having weird bye weeks during the season. Like,
yeah, like your March to May,
like
everyone should be playing every week, and down the stretch, like it should be scheduled out enough that you're playing one game and going toe to toe. You shouldn't have to have double headers this late in the year.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So yeah, week 20 is going to be fascinating. Kind of a smaller week for a penultimate week. A lot of teams on bye. But we are going to head on over to the pick pond and dish out our picks of the week here for the people, feed some ducks, and bring you the NLL Week 20 picks of the week, brought to you by Kenwood Beer, the official beer partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. It's a refreshing light beer, just 4.1% ABV, 120 calories, just 8 grams of carbs. You guys can go to kenwoodbeer.com, use the Kenny Finder to see who's got Kenwood Beer on tap in the Philadelphia, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, and Pittsburgh areas. You can also get Kenwood Beer at your local liquor stores in those markets. Again, that's kenwoodbeer.com. Got to be 21 or older to do so. And of course, guys, as always, please drink responsibly. Dejar picks summary from last week. You had a great week. I had a so-so week. You went 5-2 in your picks. You got both of the coin flip games correct. I went 3-4. So that has our records going into the penultimate week of the season. You have a 5-game lead. It's a 62-50 record for you and a 57-55 record for me. And guess what? I'm at the point where as long as we both stay above 500, I'm going to be very, very happy because I dug myself out of a hole to get to where I'm at right now.
Yes, you did.
So if the pod, both of us combined, finish over 500, both of us collectively is going to be very, very impressive. We start though.
Well, we gonna finish above 500 as a pod because I got enough. I got enough of that for you, but it would be nice for you to be above 500 as well.
We already gave our pick here. We're both going Vancouver, and that was prior to the pod. Game just started as we were recording, but we wanted to get out in front of that. We were going Vancouver all the way, because it's always L's in the chat for the Toronto Rock ownership. Which brings us to Saturday, Deej. Vegas and Ottawa. This is a fascinating game.
It is. Because Vegas literally has nothing to lose.
Right. Am I crazy?
No. Just say it, because yes, I agree. So let's just do it. Let's not think.
Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. Ottawa has played better defense and has had better goaltending. They've only surrendered 11 goals a game on average this year. Vegas has given up 14, but they've averaged the same amount of goals for. They both have scored 10 goals per game on average this year. And their goals for are very similar. Vegas has scored 170. Ottawa scored 163. The only difference is Vegas has had atrocious defense and some bad goaltending early on. I don't know. Vegas coming off a win. It's an emotional thing, obviously, because they haven't won all that much. But I do believe this is the most wins Vegas has had in a season in franchise history, which kudos to them. I think the past 2 years, they finished with 3 wins. They now have 4. Why not try to build on that? Ottawa feels like a team that is just so stagnant, and I know they have Jeff Teat, but guess what? Vegas has Donnie. They have Jack Hanna. They have Patra, who's probably going to end up winning Rookie of the Year this year. Call me crazy, and it might be a little bit of, fandom for the Wings showing and a little manifestation here for them to keep their playoff hopes alive. But I'm going Vegas to get a win.
Yeah, I'm going with Vegas as well. I'm not calling you crazy because I'm on the train. This is a vibes pick, and I feel like they are vibing, at a nice level for them, to where getting a win over Ottawa, who's been, like you said, stagnant, is well within their reach.
Which brings us to San Diego at Albany. This, again, another fascinating matchup. San Diego loses, they could potentially fall out of the playoffs for the time being. Albany loses, they are out of the playoffs. This is a weird game. Because both teams have great goaltending. Trevor Baptiste is back to go up against Joe Nardella. But I feel like in their NLL careers, not including PLL, Joe has had the upper hand a little bit over Trevor in a lot of games. I don't know where to go with this one.
I'm going to Albany. Game. I'm going to Albany. They're home. Like you said, yeah. Joe has kind of had that edge. They've been playing with a little bit of fire recently. They're trying to get into the playoffs, but the shot is long. And I need San Diego to lose to better, help out Calgary. So I will take Albany. Also have a few games to play with here in my picks, so that helps as well.
I'm going to go San Diego. I just think they have the more consistent offense. And we've seen Albany's offense go cold like they did last week when they face off against competent goaltending. And I don't know. I just think San Diego is going to feel that fire, and Patrick Merrill is going to have the boys going, and they're going to need it. So first time I think that they're facing off against Kyle Jackson as well, which will be a lot of fun there as those two face off for the first time since that trade. But I'm going to go with San Diego. Deej is going Albany. We go to the Wells Fargo Center, the final Wings home game of the 2024-2025 season. I don't know. They had this in the bag for me to what I was going to pick until last week. Who are you picking in this one?
It's hard to beat a team twice in a row.
Yeah. Unless you're the Albany Fire Wolves playing against the Philadelphia Wings.
But I need Georgia to lose. Really? I'm gonna go Georgia. I don't trust the Wings enough.
It's tough. And I'm gonna do it simply on principle. It's the last home game of the year. I'm gonna pick the Wings. Go down with the ship full send. And we'll see how it shakes out. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Wings last home game of the year. We go to Buffalo and Halifax. This might be the toughest game in terms of just very good teams playing against each other to pick. This is a big game for Halifax, big game for Buffalo to clinch that number 1 overall seed. How do you see this one shaking out, Deej?
I like Halifax here. I think they're going to try and make a push for that second, the number 2 overall seed, which I think they can catch, but I don't know if they hold the tiebreaker over Saskatchewan or not. What's going on there? But
yeah, I'll double check that.
Yeah, I think they're going to give it a run, and like I said, I got some games to play with, so I'll take Halifax to pull one out.
I'm going to go Buffalo. They're at home. They've been kind of on a weird schneid at home too. So I think they want to try to get that right before the playoffs get going, especially since they'll be at home for a majority of it. And what better way to do it than against a playoff team? So I'm going to go with Buffalo to get the dub. Then we go to the Hoots on the ground game of the week, Saskatchewan at Colorado. I already know where Deej is going. I already know where I'm going. And it's simply because they've been playing phenomenal all year, and that is the Saskatchewan Rush.
Yes, sir.
Our league pass team. But guess what? The past 2 months has justified our league pass team being the Rochester Nighthawks. God damn it. But both teams have been phenomenal. And I'm going Saskatchewan.
Go Rush.
So there it is. Our penultimate picks of the week. We both have Vancouver, which is looking like a dub for both of us. We both have Vegas. I'm going San Diego. You're going Albany. I'm going Philly. You're going Georgia. I'm going Buffalo. You're going Halifax. So 3 coin flip games. And then we're both going Saskatchewan. And those are your Week 20 picks of the week. Brought to you by Kenwood Beer. As I do a little research here on Saskatchewan and Halifax head-to-head, I want to see when they played each other. So Halifax lost early in the year at Saskatchewan 9-8. And then they won at home 17-9. So I think a lot of it will come down to record and score differential for that. Unless there's some other tiebreaker that
So I like that pick. I like that pick.
Comes into play. Before we keep pushing, want to talk to you guys about our awesome merch partners at PHI Apparel Company. Guys, if you want to stand out in the crowd, whether you're going to an NLL game, PLL game, college, or you just want to rep your favorite lacrosse podcast, holy schmoly. Sorry, I have the Phillies game on right now, and Trey Turner just made one of the most insane catches and covered 40 feet of ground running over from shortstop to the foul territory in third base and made an out. That was unbelievable.
That's crazy.
Trey Shicey, that's my dog. But PHI Apparel Company, you can get some Trey Turner merch if you want. You can also rep Outside the Box and get official OTB merch at PHI Apparel Company. Go to phiapparel.co, and when you go to checkout, use code UNDERGROUND, and you will get 10% off your next merch order from our awesome merch partners at PHI Apparel Company. Again, that's phiapparel.co, code UNDERGROUND for 10% off your merch order. Stand out in the crowd with PHI Apparel Company, the official merch partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. We go to the PLL, Deej. a lot of stuff has happened over the past couple of days since we last recorded. And that includes a lot of coaching announcements as the Carolina Chaos have their new assistants and the California Redwoods have one new assistant and one returning coach. And guess what? We already knew that one coach departed from the assistant side of things for the Redwoods. Do we want to start with the Chaos or do we want to start with the Woods, Deej?
Let's roll with the Woods.
We'll roll with the Woods. And guess what, guys? You can get up to the second notifications about all of this coaching, hiring, player movement, and everything else in the PLL when you download the PLL app. It is the one-stop shop for everything news, notes, gamification, and just vibes when it comes to the PLL. It is truly the best app on the market for a sports league. It's gamified. You earn points every day by logging into the app, doing tasks, whether it's answering trivia, filling out your TLN college pick'em during the season for the PLL, the whole 9 yards. There's articles from all the beat writers, clips from games, interviews with players. It's truly the coolest and most innovative app on the market. Download the PLL app in the App Store, Google Play Store. And when you go to check the redeem code section, use code OTBPOD, code OTBPOD, and you get 500 XP on your account. Again, download the PLL app and go to the redeem code section to get 500 XP on your account in the PLL app. The Woods, Deej. I just have to say, as somebody who has known this person since we started this podcast, am very happy that we will continue to see Chris Collins on the sidelines of PLL weekends for the foreseeable future. He is back. Chris Collins is back with the California Redwoods as their defensive coordinator. And I got to say, Deej, we've talked about it. We talked about it when Andy Copeland stepped down. We've talked about it a ton. I genuinely think Chris Collins, there's an argument to be had that he is the best assistant coach in the PLL. What he has done goaltending wise and defensive wise with the Redwoods over the past few years since he's taken over that position has been unbelievable, especially with so much rotation and so many, variables there. Chris Collins there, and I'm not even saying this because he's a friend of ours and like somebody that I truly respect. I genuinely think he is very underrated as a coach. I think he gets very underappreciated as a coach. And I'm very happy that he is back with this Redwoods team because I think what he's been doing on the defensive side of the ball for the Woods, he's like just getting started with what's going to be possible with this group. And I'm very pumped that Anthony Kelly is retaining him on the staff because I think he is truly one of the bright spots of the PLL. And I'm super stoked that we're going to see CC on the sidelines all summer long.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like you said, he's done a phenomenal job, with the Redwoods defense and his time there. And excuse me, I think his work down on that side is what has kept the Redwoods relevant. I think that if you look at the last couple of years, their offense has had a lot of names, but hasn't quite put up the production a lot of people thought that they would. But when you look at the games that they've won, you look at the games that they've been close in that they've lost, the defense was absolutely baller. The goaltending was phenomenal, and he's a big part of that. He puts together great defensive game plans, has the right matchups, makes the right adjustments in game for them to continue to be successful on that half of the field. It's awesome. Anthony Kelly wants him back. And also, I think what a lot of people haven't talked about is the way that Chris Collins will be able to use the talent that Joe Spallina brings in. Like the way that this is all coming together as a franchise now, like none of them have to worry about talent evaluation before training camp.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Spallina can do all of that, which he's great at already. And then he brings that into the Redwoods and they evaluate and they put all the right pieces together, which Collins is already great at. Putting the right pieces in the right places at the right times. He's phenomenal at doing that. This is a recipe for success. I believe that Chris will have the defense in the same position, if not better, than they have been the last couple of years as they continue to bring in more quality defensemen, rope units, goaltending, etc.
Yeah, I'm super pumped for Chris Collins to be back. And then on the offensive side, new offensive coordinator, Deej. It's hype season. Chris Bachlet named offensive coordinator for the California Redwoods. I like this move a lot. I think this is going to unlock so much of the potential that we have been waiting for in this Redwoods offense. I think he is going to tap into so much of Ryder Garnsey's game, so much of Wes Berg's game, and really just bring a new facelift to what this Redwoods offense is going to be able to accomplish. And that doesn't even bring up the draft picks that Joe Spallina is going to add early on in this draft for this Redwoods offense.
Yeah, I mean, Bachlet was great in his time in the NLL or the MLL, in his time outdoors and playing. He was a downhill dodger that also had great vision and could finish. He was your textbook offensive midfielder. I mean, his vision and his IQ for the game are remarkable, literally unbelievable. What I'm really excited for is that, like you said, he's going to be able to take the best parts of all these players' games and put them in positions and kind of uplift them in a way that they haven't been showcased in the last couple of years. I think it will be a little slow.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first couple of weeks will be an adjustment period, but once he gets a grasp of the PLL truly, because I think a lot of people have a grasp from watching at home, maybe seeing a game or two on the sidelines, but until you're actually in the thick of it and can see it super up close and watch what's happening and have to think in that moment, that's when you truly understand what's happening around you. That's when he's going to make that jump. A couple of weeks in, he's really going to understand the PLL, how the offensive side works, and you're going to start to see that offense really cultivate into something great.
And I think, we've talked about this a ton where we are very pro, teams hiring players that played in the PLL as coaches because they know the style of game that the PLL is. I think Chris Bachlet's kind of the outlier because he has stayed involved with the game at the youth level, and has kind of seen the game evolve. He's been a fan of the PLL. He's been around the game for quite some time. He's been the director of X10 Lacrosse alongside his brothers Mike and Matt and his sister Casey, and he's the director of Strike Lacrosse. So he's around the game and kind of knows where the direction of professional lacrosse is going with the field game. And little trivia here for you, DJ. I don't know if you read the press release with Bachlet or not, so this may be knowledge you have. But he was a 4th round pick, and he spent his first 5 seasons in the MLL with the Denver Outlaws. In his second season, he was named an All-Star, and he finished the season first in the MLL in goals with 42. And he tied with someone for the league lead in points at 55. Can you name the player he was tied with in points?
What year was that?
This was in his second season, so 2012.
Shit. Stanwyck?
Not Stanwyck, but good guess. Kind of same tier of player.
Walters?
No,
not yet.
They led the league in points with 55. These two players, Bachlet and this other player.
RP Tree was still in college, I think.
Yeah, because he was 2013.
Yeah. This is not a sick brain activity.
I'll give you a hint here. This player is someone that we have connections with, has not been on the pod, but we have connections with. And this player is part of the one of, was it 4 that have been drafted number 1 overall in both leagues.
Shit. I know that crew too. Fuck.
Obviously, it's not Jeff Teat.
No, it's not Jeff.
And it's not Brennan.
No, not Brennan. Powell? No. Yes, no. Who are the other 2?
I'll give you a hint. He's still an active player in the NLL right now.
Matthews.
Close. You're
No.
warmer.
Okay, hold on. Fuck.
He's playing in a game that is actively going on as we're recording this podcast.
Yeah, I see. I'm trying to think of who's all old as fuck.
Hey, to this player, I don't think you're old as fuck.
No, not. But this guy isn't an active PLL player, is he?
Has never played in the PLL. I'll give you one last hint. His nickname is the same nickname as a superstar Barstool personality.
Oh, yeah. I'm bad. It should have never taken me that long to guess Kevin Crowley.
Yes, Kevin Crowley and Chris Bocklet led MLL in points in 2012 with 55.
I'm sick, so it's fine.
And Anthony Kelly and Bocklet were teammates in 2014.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool that they're reunited there. Anthony Kelly said, Chris was a no-brainer for me to add to our staff. He was not only an incredible player in his day, but he's an even better person. He brings the attitude, drive, and focus that we are looking for in our Redwoods players. Bocklet was also part of the inaugural Chrome Lacrosse Club squad, which is pretty cool as well. And he's happy to once again be involved in the league. So again, even though it was year 1, was part of a PLL team at one point. While he is well known as a player, Bocklet has also been coaching and has helped develop young players for many years. He's been coaching for a long ass time, and he also said being part of the Redwoods organization and helping lead some of the best players in the world is an honor I don't take lightly. I'm beyond excited to get to work, build relationships, and pour everything I have into this team. I'm counting down the days until training camp, and I can't wait to be on the field with the guys.
Yes.
I love this hire. I think this is so dope. Like, super excited for Chris and like the Bocklet family. Like, we don't talk enough about how they're super synonymous with lacrosse and just how like involved they are in like growing the game and being like a superstar lacrosse family.
Yeah, I think it's exciting for what's going to happen. I'm really looking forward to what this team is going to be with, Bocklet and Kelly coming in, Spallina getting to do his thing. It's a new iteration of the Woods that has been needed. And I'm really excited for it because I think kind of the Woods and Chaos are guinea pigs realistically for how this process will look for the rest of the league over the next couple of years.
Yeah. And I mean, Matt was obviously an assistant with the Water Dogs at one point too. So the Bocklet family continue to just be involved with the PLL. And I think it's super dope. And I mean, this also like goes back to like 2021. Like, don't forget when like Chris Bocklet was like going through a ton, and like the lacrosse community like came through. When he had his brain injury from a longboarding accident, like to see him recover, and now he's going to be on a PLL sideline coaching. Like, that's unbelievable. And I can't wait to see what Bocklet does with this offense and kind of kick them into another gear that we haven't quite seen them in. And it's going to be fun. I'm super excited for them. And again, to have Chris Collins back on the defense, who we know is a proven, defensive coordinator in this league, knows the goalie position really well in this league. And to add Chris Bocklett to Anthony Kelly's staff is very exciting.
Yeah, I think this staff is going to do phenomenal things with this team. I think they all complement each other very well, and I think they all bring different things to the team that will highlight different parts of athletes and really bring out the best of the Redwoods.
Yeah, and then Roy Colsey has his staff, as it was announced earlier this week. Kyle Sweeney, Matt McCready's joined the Chaos coaching staff. Sweeney was inducted into the Pro Lacrosse Hall of Fame last year after a 15-year professional career. He was teammates with Roy Colsey on the Philadelphia Barrage and later played for the Boston Cannons, winning an MLL championship with both teams. Sweeney won 4 MLL titles, 2004, 2006, 2007, and 2011. The first 3 were with Roy Colsey. He was named an All-Pro 4 times. He's 6th all-time in career points scored by a long pole with 72, 9th in ground balls with 529, and he's 2nd all-time in games played at 183. Former defenseman will oversee a Carolina defense that allowed the fewest scores in the PLL last season. I mean, what a combo to introduce Kyle Sweeney to coach the defense with Jared Newman, Will Bowen, and Jack Rowlett, and Blaze Reardon as your goalie.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this. They're getting a great defensive mind to go with already a lot of great defensive minds that are able to play with unreal athleticism and IQ. I'm really excited to see how this continues to boost their team. I think what a lot of people fail to realize about Chaos is they're a team that's backloaded. Everything starts in the defensive end for them. If they can play well defensively, they're going to win that game most likely because it pushes through the transition into the offense. The middle of the field starts looking better. All of that. It starts back there with their base of Blaze Reardon and their defense. So to add another great defensive mind to that in terms of their coach is only going to make that group better. I'm excited to see how they handle the draft and what rope unit guys they go and get in that scenario to kind of, make up for some of their losses in CJ Costabile and Zach Geddes. But realistically, I have no concerns about this defense. I'm really excited to see what they're going to do, especially as a defensive head myself.
And then McCready's played 6 seasons in the MLL with the Chesapeake Bayhawks and the Atlanta Blaze. And don't you know it, there's another connection here, Deej, because new Chaos GM Spencer Ford drafted him to the Bayhawks, with whom he won 2 championships with in 2012 and 2013. And when Spencer Ford took over the Atlanta Blaze, oh, don't you know it, Deej, he traded for Matt McCready's, who had 146 career points, 86 goals, 58 assists, and 2 2-pointers. He'll be tasked with reviving a Chaos offense that was the league's worst in 2024. And Ian McKay was placed on the holdout list. I know a lot of people are freaking out about that. Let's also not lose sight that most of these Chaos boys put themselves on the holdout list as the NLL playoffs are approaching. I'm not all that concerned with Ian, with us knowing Ian, and having talked to him about just like the way his career, has been going over the past couple of years and what he does, with his lacrosse stuff. I'd be shocked if Ian's not suiting up in the PLL, quite frankly. He loves playing for this team. He loves playing with Blaze, loves playing on that defense. And it would really surprise me if he is not playing in the PLL. But I think him going on the holdout list is a lot more leaning towards the NLL playoffs being here and Ian kind of just being focused on that versus Ian leaving and playing summer box or something of that nature.
Yeah, I don't think he's not going to play. I haven't seen anything that leans towards that. But then again, we don't know what's the scenario with coaching staff changing and everything like that. So it's a small possibility, but I'll tell you 9 times out of 10, he'll be in a Chaos jersey at some point this summer.
Yeah, I'm not all that concerned until I need to be all that concerned. So Ian's one of the best short stick D-middies in the game too. So it would be crazy to kind of see him walk out the door there. But I'm very excited. I think I think Matt McCready is going to be a great coach on the offensive side of things with Roy Colsey, but Kyle Sweeney being the defensive coordinator, like we said, to add such a prolific former player to coach this prolific defense is going to be scenes. And if you like defense, if you are like Deej and you're a big defensive type of, fan, you're going to want to watch Chaos games because Kyle Sweeney is going to take this defense and transform it from like Charizard to like Mega Charizard. Like this shit's going to be crazy with what they're going to be able to accomplish with just Kyle Sweeney's defensive mind. With those three players in particular and Blaze, obviously. And I'm just excited for what this defense is going to look like with the Chaos because they've been a staple defense since year one of the PLL. And I think it's only going to continue to progress and then continue to be in that S tier of defenses in the league.
Oh yeah, this is. I'm telling you, Sweeney is going to take this to an astronomical level, and I'm really excited to see, what this defense does. They're already aggressive and strong and mean, but it's only going to take another level up.
And speaking of these two teams, Deej, they made a trade earlier this week. Garrett Degnan, last year's draft pick for the Redwoods, traded from the Woods to the Carolina Chaos in exchange for the 29th overall pick in the 2025 college draft. Deej, the Redwoods also had the 29th pick in last year's draft, which they drafted Chase Ireland. How do you feel about moving on from Degnan after about 4 games? And another draft pick in Trader Joe's arsenal here as we inch closer and closer to draft day.
I don't feel like he was ever given a true shot. But I also wasn't at training camp to see what that looked like for him. I wasn't at practices to know. Like, there's a lot that goes into that. But I am excited for him to get another shot. I feel like he does fit into that Chaos offense and will provide a nice shooting threat for them. And I really think he really just fell victim to being the youngest and least proven out of a group of strong shooting midfielders. And the new regime came in and was like, look, we can't have 5 of the same midfielder. Mm-hmm. We need something different. And I think he just fell prey to being the youngest and not really having had a chance to prove himself. So he was the one that got moved. I think Degnan's going to find a spot in the PLL and it's going to fit him and he's going to be good. And it may just be with Chaos. On the other side, we've talked about draft picks before. I think Joe Spallina has a great eye for talent, and we'll find out soon just how good that eye is. But it's just going to come down to how Bachlet and Kelly put together the offense and how they use the players they have with what they bring in to be successful.
Yeah. I mean, I like the move for Garrett because he's now going to a midfield that had a lot of questions. And I think his ability to dodge and be a bully in that midfield with that Chaos team is going to be a lot of fun. And it just felt like previously with John Grant Jr., like young guys like had to prove something to play. And sure, you want to see guys prove it, but like you're not going to get growth from those young players unless they play. And it almost felt like John Grant Jr.'s philosophy at the pro level was like stunting the growth of a lot of young players on this Redwoods team. And I think it's going to be exciting to see Degnan get a full clean slate opportunity now with a team that's going to absolutely need his services.
Yeah, I think he's going to be in a much better spot now in a place where he can be successful. Like you said, he was kind of held back not getting that true opportunity last year. I think with young guys, you have to give them a chance to work out their kinks. You just got to let them play. Let them play, let them play, let them play. They're going to make mistakes, but you have to let them play. I think you saw that a lot with the Outlaws, with Brennan O'Neill,
yes,
with Graham Bundy, with Sam Hanley. with
Dalton
Logan
Young,
Wisnauskas, Dalton Young. They let those guys just play. They came with a lot of
Sawada.
mistakes, but next year, the year after, those guys are going to be good because they've had that chance to really settle into the game and figure out how things move and how things are going to work for them.
And some other player movement leaving the Carolina Chaos, something I never thought we would see, and heading to join his former teammate Kyle Jackson with the New York Atlas, CJ Costabile. The rich get richer.
Yeah, I don't know what this was about.
My gasps were flabbered when I saw this move. I never expected CJ to wear another uniform in the PLL. He just felt like born and bred Carolina Chaos guy. Kind of his hometown team, being a Connecticut guy. I mean, this call me crazy because the draft hasn't happened yet, Deej. This feels like a make or break year for the Atlas because this roster is so loaded. And I know they're young as well, so it's not necessarily make or break, but like the way that they're constructed, they're pushing a lot of chips into the middle of the table to go out and win. And I just think that, like, if you're the New York Atlas, you have to almost, and I never want to see a team have the mindset like this because more often than not, it bites you in the ass and you fail miserably by doing this. But like the mindset for the New York Atlas, especially after the disappointing way that they went out last year, and even though it was an electric game for the fans, like that's a tough loss for them to swallow with the season that they had. It's got to be championship or bust for them this year. Like it has to be. And if you're an Atlas fan, you got to be thinking like we have to finally get over the hump because you add CJ Costabile to Kobe Smith and Tyler Carpenter. You add Kyle Jackson to this midfield with Brian Costabile, Dox Aiken, Miles Jones is back to run it back, Jake Stevens. You add Cole Williams. You have Chet Comizio, Danny Logan, Peyton Razonka, and Chase Yeager in your D mid room. Cormier, Xander, Jeff Teat, Connor Schellenberger. Like, this team is loaded across the board, and that doesn't even bring up Trevor Baptiste or Liam Entenmann. Mike Pressler just feels like he's pushing the buttons to be like, yo, we have to find a way. This is the we have to find a way year, I think, for the New York Atlas.
I think they just have to get to the championship game. I think that at the least. I only say that because they haven't been there. Now, if they had been there, the last couple of years or whatever, and they couldn't quite win, yeah, you got to get over the hump and win one. You got to get there. They haven't even gotten there yet. You got to get there. They have all the talent. They have the minds there. They have the coaching. It's all there. They just have to actually go out and win the games. That's what it comes down to, is going out and actually doing it. But I think this year, I think they got to make it to the championship game.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, like, if they don't do it this year, like, when is it going to happen? Like, and I know they're young, like I said, but like Jeff Teat's not getting any younger. You want to capitalize on having arguably the best player on the planet and, quite frankly, the best player in the league on your team, who they just extended through 2027, by the way. So that's huge for them as well. Like, Jeff's not getting he's 27. Jeff's not this spring chicken anymore. He's in his prime, but he's not 23-year-old Jeff Teat anymore. He's not coming out of, college Jeff Teat in 2021 and putting on a show. This is now put up or shut up time, I think, for a lot of these guys. And, it's going to be a lot of battling the headlines for Jeff, I think, this year after setting the points record and all of that. So there's going to be a lot of things like obstacles to, get out of the way of. But this team's far too talented to not be in the discussion and be playing up in North Jersey at the end of the year for the championship.
Exactly. But, it comes down to, once again, just playing on the field. Yep. You've made all the right moves. You just got to go out and do it.
Some other moves that happened since the last time we recorded. Sam Alexo, now a free agent. He's in the player pool. The Outlaws released him, according to the transaction database on the PLL website. That feels like a sneaky pickup for somebody that say, hey, like, I like his skill set and what he could bring to the LSM room here. Maybe the Carolina Chaos. Instead of using a draft pick potentially like late in the draft, go and get Sam Alexo. I think that would be a savvy move by Spencer Ford to go and get somebody of Sam's like talent to add to that LSM room, especially with CJ leaving.
You know, that's a great point. One person I don't want to hear this, my boy Stags, who's probably listening. The last team that needs to go and pick up somebody who can incite offense from the defensive end is the Whipsnakes. But Sam Alexo would fit that mold perfectly for them. And I think he would fit their defensive scheme as well in the way that they like to play defense. They try and refrain from sliding as much as possible. And I think he's a great cover LSM. I think he's a guy that you can trust to go out and stop the best guy on their team, their best midfielder anyway, and not necessarily have to help a lot, and then can still be a ground ball vacuum in the middle of the field and push transition.
I would say yes, but I also forgot that their LSM room is pretty stacked right now, just in terms of returning vets.
Is it
and though? Well, they're going to get a full season of Alex Mazzone, who they picked up when the Water Dogs released him. And he was on the team, played well in the championship game, and had that freaky goal where the head of his stick fell off and would have counted as a goal. I mean, yes, Sam could come in and challenge somebody like Brett Kennedy. They also drafted Zupi last year. So that's a guy who's going to be in camp, trying to get, more eyes and more playing time there. And then
I don't think
boy Colin Squires.
I don't think Zupi stays up top for long. I think some of those moves that they made were like, honestly, I think Zupi takes a spot down low with Bryce Young gone. That's something to think about. I know they still have Muller and Matt Dunn there, but they're only going to be there for so much longer. So eventually Zupi's going to go down low. Brett Kennedy to me is more of a down low player than LSM as well. But then again, none of them push transition the way Sam Alexo does either. So that's kind of just that piece I was thinking. And I know that's something other people have talked about for the Whipsnakes, is that they aren't quite the same team without that LSM that can push transition.
Just like
I hope
Squires shoot.
Listen, I hope Stags feels the way you do and feels like the room is stacked and he doesn't go after him. But realistically,
and I say the Chaos too, because obviously CJ left, and right now on their roster they only have two guys. It's Ryan McNulty and Troy Ray.
It's kind of all you need. Because you got to remember that they do still have Jack Posey, and they run Will Bowen up top sometimes too. So that's an interesting wrinkle there. I mean, the Woods, they let go OG.
Let me look at their roster.
Sam could slide in there.
Make up here. Jared Connor, yeah, it's a good call. Especially the way we've dissected that LSM room. It's Jared Connors and then a bunch of guys. And by bunch of guys, it's just two other guys. It's Ryan Kennedy and BJ Farrar, who we both think are talented players, but we also have talked about it time and time again. We think they're a little undersized for the position.
So, yeah,
like,
I mean,
BJ's 5'8", playing LSM. Ryan Kennedy is 5'10".
And you can get away with 5'10", but you've got to be a beast doing it. Like, John Sexton was a beast at 5'10". Yeah. But you got to be a beast if you're going to be 5'10" playing LSM.
Jared Connors at 6'5".
Yeah. Dude's a beast.
Redwoods make a lot of sense too.
That's an option too. So then you don't have to necessarily try and go get one in the draft.
Also very interesting that Holden Garland allegedly retired, but he's still on the Redwoods roster page.
I know. There's a lot.
What is it? What is it, Holden? Make up your
Are
mind.
you going to play or not, buddy? We need to know. ASAP.
Also, Redwoods wise, it feels like Alex Simmons is going to be playing summer box this year.
Yes.
Because he signed a contract there. So
yeah, Simi's going to play summer box
if he's healthy, obviously.
And I don't blame. I say and I don't blame him. I don't think the PLL did. Like, once again, he didn't, to me, get a real shot at all.
Yeah.
So.
Can I also potentially sound crazy here for a quick second when it comes to the PLL and Trader Joe and everything? Because Phil Shore put out a great article this week on the PLL website, the new Redwoods beat writer and friend of the program. Joe Spallina's 5 best draft picks. Okay. And it's some very fascinating players here. I might sound crazy, but you never know. Speaking of LSMs. In this list includes number 5, Ryan Ambler, who Trader Joe drafted in 2016 in the 5th round. It also includes number 1, Tommy Palasek, the legend. Jojo Moresco, friend of the pod. Jake Richard, friend of the pod. But the interesting name here, Deej, call me crazy because now we've seen these two teams make trades. Joe Spallina drafted Troy Ray in 2018.
You're crazy.
I know Troy is a New York guy, so
crazy.
It's like not even like a region-based thing. But, and I'm not saying this is happening. This is all just like hypothetical to the max.
Yeah, you're crazy for thinking this.
But would it be crazy if we woke up and saw that Joe Spallina traded for a guy that he drafted in 2018?
Yes. That guy? Yes. I don't see him. I don't see that guy playing for anybody but who he plays for. Troy Ray is not. I don't think Troy Ray plays for any other team that's not Chaos. Maybe Atlas because he wants to be close to home. But I don't see him going anywhere else.
I don't say he goes anywhere else either. But when I was reading the article, I was like, huh, that's pretty interesting.
It's interesting, but yeah, I don't.
Especially since Troy is the thumbnail photo.
That's nice. That's smart. That's smart. That's smart. But no, I don't see it happening.
And then a little check-in here with the current draft situation too, after some trades and everything. First round, still the same, obviously. It's Water Dogs, Redwoods, Cannons, Chaos, Atlas, Whipsnakes, Archers. Second round, Dogs, Woods, Outlaws, Cannons, Chaos, Atlas, Water Dogs, Archers. The third round, Whipsnakes, Archers, Outlaws, Whipsnakes, Chaos, Atlas, Water Dogs, Whipsnakes. And then round 4 is now Water Dogs, Outlaws, Cannons, Chaos, Atlas, Redwoods, and Archers. Right now, Adam Lamberti's big board has the Redwoods slated to take Chris Cav and Andrew McAdory with 2-3.
The only thing I don't like about that is adding another Chris to Woods, who have like 8 of them, as we were talking about pre-pod. But
and then
other than that,
pick 10, which I think he's one of my favorite players in the draft, honestly, and it's not even because he plays at a Philly school, is Levi Verge.
Oh, I like Verge.
He's slated at number 10 right now, which would also be the Redwoods.
But I don't. Verge is good.
Speaking of LSMs.
Yeah. I think, okay. Some people might not like this. You go draft McAdory or Sam English. Then you get you an LSM with the 3rd pick. And then go get a goalie with the 10th.
You don't believe in Matt Note?
I didn't say that. I just said go get a goalie.
That'd be 4 goalies.
Somebody gonna get dropped.
2 somebodies are gonna get dropped.
No, they'll keep a third one on the roster.
I also
They'll
don't understand.
They'll keep a third on the practice roster.
I don't understand people mocking the Water Dogs to draft a goalie this year. That feels like a next year thing. Like Dylan Ward is going to play this year, and like Matt DeLuca is here.
I think it's a this year thing because of who's in the draft. Like the goalie talent this year. There's a handful of senior goalies that it's like, if you think you might need one in the next couple of years, this is the year to do so that you actually have like a very solid goalie.
And there's like 3 that are, according to Adam Lamberti's big board on the PLL website, there's 3 that are slated as top 20 picks.
Yeah, and then there's still a couple more that are in.
Like, and then it's Michael John Fracaro at 42 overall, according to Adam. And then your Richmond boys, Zach Vieg is 64th. And then 12 is Emmett Carroll. Logan is 15. And then Jack at Penn State is 20. I don't know.
I understand your point, but it's more of knowing knowing the talent that's coming out.
Yeah. It just feels like there was, not that the Water Dogs have that many needs per se, because it was like one of those weird years where like a talented team just like had the worst luck possible. And like you're adding CJ Kirst. But like outside of that, like we've talked about it a ton too, like during the season last year. Like what holes really do the Water Dogs have on this roster outside of like guys hitting their prime and kind of just almost doing like what the Eagles have done in the draft, where like you have guys in their prime and then you draft their replacements to learn from them. It's a little different with Lacrosse because the roster is not as big, but it's I think the only like real pressing need right now too could be LSM because of Rylan Reese's injury. You don't know how much time he's going to miss potentially, and you have Chris Sabia. You know, do you move an AJ Mercurio to LSM? Obviously, Kenny Brower is hopefully going to play this year. Obviously, was injured all of last year. See what you do with Jack DiBenedetto potentially. But that's really the only like pressing need.
I think Brower plays down low and Burnsy splits time up top.
Yeah, because you have Liam Burns, Eli, Ben Randall,
or Eli. It's either going to be Eli or Liam that goes up top and splits time with
Sabia. And then you have Marcus Hudgens, Mercurio, and Brower are almost like,
I forgot about Hudgy.
They're like almost like the in waiting, like next core defense behind.
Well, Hudgy might take that spot from whoever goes up because he was already playing last year and they know what they're going to get from him.
And he was good. We said it. One of the most underrated electric debuts from a PLL defenseman in history.
Yeah, he was good.
He was great. Mercurio came in, played a couple games. And I like them signing Jack DiBenedetto too. I think that's a sneaky, fun pickup there. But yeah, the draft's going to be fun. And we have a draft date, everyone. May 6th, 7 Eastern, ESPN Plus. You already know what that means. It's the OTB College Draft Extravaganza.
Gang.
With the boys. We'll be live May 6th for the entire draft, breaking it all down. We're going to curate guests to get on the show, whole 9 yards. It's going to be fun. I'm excited for it. And it's quickly less than a month. It's crazy how fast time is moving. But with that, we move to Deej's favorite segment of the week, and it is the college breakdown. It's brought to you by our friends over at 47 Brand. Guys, we love 47 Brand. Truly the best. Their hats are what are on our heads damn near all the time. I'm wearing 47 Brand right now. it's truly my go-to hat of choice whenever I'm out and about, just putting an outfit together. 47 brand helps bring it all together. They just released one of the sickest capsules that I have seen from any company, and it is the NHL Past Champs Tabloid 47 Hitch hat. Now, mind you, the Hitch style is my favorite style from 47. They have a Flyers one, so I will be getting this, but it's the coolest concept. It's honoring past Stanley Cup champions, and underneath the hat, so like on the inside of the hat that you wouldn't typically see, it's hidden the headline from when your team won the Stanley Cup. It is the coolest thing I've ever seen, and DJ and I, with journalism backgrounds, love this. This is the coolest thing, and they have both of our teams, so we're definitely going to be getting these. Get yours too, and shop everything 47 brand has on their website for your favorite MLB, NFL, NHL, NBA, minor league baseball, NASCAR, soccer, and of course, college sports. It's all available on their website. Use our link in the description and get free shipping on all orders when you shop with our friends at 47 brand. Again, use the link in the description. Shop all of the styles, designs, teams with our friends at 47 brand. Get free shipping when you use our link in the description. Deej, give me a team to look at, as we do on this segment with 47, where nobody will see it unless you use our link to go and shop with 47 brand.
Do they have the Spiders from Richmond on there?
They do have the Richmond Spiders. The Richmond Spiders, they got some pretty sweet t-shirts from the Richmond Spiders, and that's the cool thing about 47 too. They have great apparel as well. So check out the Richmond Spiders. Check out all your favorite college teams with 47 brand and join the 47 family today. Deej's college weekend. How are we feeling going into the weekend?
Big games on tap. Big games on tap. As April, gets to a close, we know what's coming. May, which means playoff lacrosse is almost here. These games are ever so more important. Kicking us off on ESPN Plus, Iona. Wow.
Hoi me noi.
Iona
Ionia.
and Canisius at ESPN Plus at 11 a.m.
Bless you.
Thank you. Noon, ESPN Plus, Brown and 3-ranked Princeton. Fairfield and Delaware also taking off at noon. Fairfield looking to remain a one-loss team, one of the few in the country. ESPN Plus, Hobart and St. Joseph, Quinnipiac and Siena, St. Bonaventure, Massachusetts, UAlbany, Vermont, Colgate, Lehigh, Binghamton, UMBC, and Mercer, Bellarmine, all on ESPN Plus. VMI and Robert Morris, Wagner and Detroit Mercy, Boston University, Lafayette, all join that list as well. Army Navy, 12:30 p.m. I think that one might be on CBS. Don't quote me on that, but I've seen it there before. But that one, first face-offs, 12:30, 5-ranked Army taking on Navy. 1 p.m. ESPN Plus, Loyola, Maryland, looking for their second win of the year against Holy Cross. It's been tough for them. Jacksonville and Utah, who I feel like have played like 3 times this year. Maybe I'm tripping, but I feel like I've said that like 1,000 times over. But they're going to play again, maybe for the first time. 1 p.m. ESPN Plus, alongside Penn and Harvard. Harvard ranked 10th in the country right now. Dartmouth 20th, taking the trip to Yale. Those are 1 p.m. ESPN Plus. 1 p.m. Penn State, Johns Hopkins. 2 p.m. Queens and Air Force, Maryland, Ohio State. 3 p.m. Denver and Georgetown. 4 p.m. ESPN Plus. We get High Point, 11th ranked Richmond. We also get Syracuse and Cornell being played somewhere at 4 p.m. ACC Network, North Carolina and Duke, 12-7 matchup there. Syracuse 4-1. 9th ranked Notre Dame taking on Virginia, ESPNU, 5 p.m. I may be there, but y'all, I feel terrible. so I probably won't be. Manhattan Maris, 7 p.m. ESPN Plus to close things out for us on Saturday. Sunday, Michigan, 14th ranked, taking on Rutgers at noon. That game better be on BTN, because if it's on BTN Plus, I'm going to scream.
I can confirm Army Navy is on CBS, which means you can stream it on Paramount Plus. Use our link. Sign up. Sign up if you want to watch Army Navy. It's always a doozy of a time. Use Paramount Plus. Sign up. Link in the description.
Don't say we ain't never done that. Don't say we never done nothing for you.
Always looking out.
But yeah, that Sunday game is going to wrap it up for us. Nothing notable going on during the week. So, hail to the victors. Go blue. Need a big dub over Rutgers this weekend. Down goes Scotty Royster.
I have the TLN games as well. If you are ready for those, everyone, get your picks ready. Which Deej, no big deal. I went 5 for 5 last week. No big deal.
I see you.
No big deal.
I goofed on the Dartmouth. I was feeling the vibes.
I felt good. Felt good there. I am 30-18 on the season in college pick'em. Pretty good. Pretty good for a guy who doesn't know all that much about college. Your games of the week. These are the TLN rankings too. When I mentioned like number rankings, number 5 Army against Navy. Number 7 Maryland. Number 2 Ohio State. Lemoyne and Mercyhurst. Number 6 North Carolina. Number 11 Duke. And number 4 Syracuse against number 1 Cornell. Also, I'm gonna put this out there, Deej. You got Richmond, in your back pocket. Richmond needs to send you a care package for saving their season. Just saying.
I think so.
Can I just say who has one of the coolest logos, one of the most underutilized logos in a great color scheme?
Richmond.
Lemoyne.
Oh, yes.
Lemoyne. Listen, guys. This is just me talking to a team that I appreciate here from an aesthetics point of view. I would rep Lemoyne lacrosse gear in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. The Dolphin is beautiful. The color scheme, fantastic. Let hit the boys up, Lemoyne. Let's make something happen. I would rep Lemoyne on this podcast. I would wear Lemoyne gear, no doubt about it.
I'm down to be a Finns fan for a bit.
But yeah, Richmond needs to hook you up, bro. You saved their season.
That's what I do. I save seasons. You
season
didn't know this?
Saver. Hashtag.
That might need to be my new name.
Deej the Season Saver Hughes.
Yeah. That got a nice little ring to it. That got a nice little. The people ain't ready for that.
They're not ready.
Where were you when I saved? The Philly season. The Redwoods season a couple years ago. Richmond season.
Lemoyne got a rope hat with the Dolphin logo on it.
Ooh.
Oh my God. Y'all. Hook a bro up. Come on now. That's fire. But yeah, submit your TLN picks as well, always, and keep track of your records. Go head to head with me and Deej, because we fill ours out every week. And there's your college preview for the weekend. That's all we got for you guys on this one. Make sure you are following us on the socials at OTB LaxPod across the board. Follow Deej at SCS_NextGreat. Follow me at KBIZZL311. Follow Chase at the PLL Pipeline. And follow Hoots at Hoot Sports Media. Subscribe to the pod. Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave us a 5-star review. Goes a long way for helping the show continue to grow. Subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia and Outside the Box podcast YouTube channels, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia and @OTB LaxPod. Leave a like on the video, drop a comment in the comment section, and click that bell icon so you know whenever new videos go live. Leave us a voicemail on the How We Live In hotline, speakpipe.com/OTB LaxPod. Let us know how you're feeling about college, NLL, PLL, whatever it may be. Sound off on the voicemail line. It's linked in the description, speakpipe.com/OTB LaxPod. And check out Shootout For Soldiers, guys. Shootoutforsoldiers.com/events is the place to do it. Sign up, register for any upcoming event throughout the 2025 Shootout For Soldiers season, and find out how to get involved, donate, register for an event, or find out how to volunteer and help bring your community together with the sport of lacrosse to help support our nation's veterans. This has been episode number 370 of the award-nominated, honorably mentioned, number 9 NCAA, number 11 Philadelphia ranked, and of course viewable on YouTube, Outside the Box podcast, the official lacrosse podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. For Deej, I'm KB. Enjoy the weekend of lacrosse. I'm cracking up right now because NBA Centel just posted a thing saying the Nuggets have placed bulletproof vests on every seat ahead of tonight's matchup versus the Grizzlies. That's comical. Enjoy the weekend of lacrosse. I'll see you from the Wells Fargo Center on Saturday. We'll be back here getting ready for the final week of the NLL regular season. But until then, we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.